All right, everyone, we are live here with the Contra and LottieFiles teams. Hello to everyone that's in here. If you haven't already, could you drop where you're calling in from in the chat? I see Kuala Lumpur, Ohio, Brazil, India, St. Paul, Minnesota, Singapore. Let's see, Germany, Boston. Hello, Daniel, Montreal, London. Awesome to see that regardless of time of day, we have people from all over. Awesome. Well, we have a packed agenda today, so we will go ahead and get started. We're going to kick off with some introductions, and then we will hear from Celcea and the LottieFiles team to talk about how to level up your projects with Motion. Carmen will be doing a build demo with LottieFiles, and then at the end, we'll wrap up talking a little bit about how you can earn using Motion on Contra. So to kick off the introductions, my name is Allison Lottie. I am the VP of Product at Contra. Contra is a creative network for independent professionals like many of you to build your portfolio, build your identity, and get discovered and hired by agencies and startups. We've been around for about 5 years, and we're super excited to partner with companies like LottieFiles to host their expert network and provide a way for all of you that are incredible designers using LottieFiles to earn using your skills. So we'll be diving more into that, but I will pass to Celcea for an introduction.
Thanks so much, Allison. I'm Celcea, and I'm a brand manager at LottieFiles. My background is visual communication, so I always be a designer at heart, and I'm based in Kuala Lumpur. I'm gonna try to share my screen. Is my screen up, Allison? Yeah, cool.
One note for everyone too is this is a live session, so we would love to have you all asking questions throughout, and we will answer those as we go. So just drop them in the chat, and then we'll be pulling them up on stage to answer the questions as we go through.
Cool. So I don't want to assume, but we all know the highs and lows of being a designer, right? Like sometimes you got to wear many hats at the same time. You are the UI designer, you're the developer, and you're the motion designer. So what we'll be sharing today is how LottieFiles democratize motion so it becomes more accessible for everyone. And what we mean by accessible, it's not only for beautiful designs on product. Here we're also talking about landing pages and apps. It could be also your video, if you're a video editor, or like social media, if you're like a campaign manager or like developer who feels visual and motion is probably something like, oh my God, this is out of my league, right? And why motion? Like, why does it really, really matter? I think first thing first, motion is always a great way to tell a story, your brand story, your product story, your a person's story. It's a strong and a strategic use of the motion actually could really, really benefit your project. It can help to increase the brand awareness, and it's kind of like a ripple effects. The brand awareness starts, and then people start to talk about it, and then automatically that will boost the user engagement. People will stay longer, people will talk about it a little bit more. And then when the engagement is high, then you can turn it into a promotional material, especially for freelancers that are just starting up a career or just want to, up level your game in the industry. And the analogy is also storytelling is like when you're walking to a hotel or like a space or a restaurant or like a cafe. You would remember a good smell of this specific place, right? It reminds you of like, oh God, this is a really good bagel smell from this grumpy bagel shop, for instance. So it makes you feel a certain way, and that's how motion should be. It should make people a certain way. Something that is moving really fast makes you feel happy, makes you feel like giddy. You want to move. You want to do things a bit more energetic. And in the digital world, we cannot smell, right? We can only see. So whatever that we are consuming is just a visual, and it's just visual. Basically, it's just with our eyes. We perceive it with our eyes. It includes like text, shapes, and images. And that could be really static and boring, and it's probably not enough anymore as today, like 2025, without emotion. And we're talking about user experience, not just adding up a delights, but also like if you're working, let's say for like a finance corporation, that they really need to have a good feedback and response in their apps, motion is a very great way to do it, because then you will indicate the user that, hey, you're reaching this journey, and then this will be next. You give that anticipation, you give them the trustworthiness that they expect, and that of course gonna elevate the brand awareness again. And oftentimes we say a paragraph with one picture, but you can say 1,000 words with motion. For instance, you have like an onboarding screen showing like, hey, we're just launching this product, this is how you can use it. Instead of writing it in text, as we all know, probably most people like, I don't want to read long text, right? Especially it's on your phone. You can animate them, make people understand what you're trying to communicate within like 2 seconds. So you can simplify complex information, limiting the cognitive load so that you can spend time of your users strategically on the important things that you want them to do. And lastly, building trust, because with a blank screen or something that is probably not quite right with what you're trying to communicate, it's very easy for the user to think like, oh my God, this is an error and I can't click back. Especially when you're sending like 4,500 euros somewhere, and then you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen with this money, right? So as a designer, I think we are all very conscious on the use of anything that we design, especially for things that are related to the user, related to like a transactional design. I think that's very, very important to keep this in mind, that motion could help you to reach this. And I just want to shout out to some of these amazing freelancers that has been contributing, creating animations, and also they're like the top freelancers in Contra. So I just want to shout out to them and have a look at their projects. They have multiple projects that are using LottieFiles. It's very inspirational, and we hope out from this webinar, a lot of you gonna go and try and becoming that one man with many hats, but proudly wearing it. And these are like quite technical thing that why it is driving engagement and conversion, because technically on the back side of things, using a Lottie, it's cutting down the page load time because it's very small in size. And when it's fast, then people will scroll and then they wouldn't quit your page, right? So then that it will boost the user engagement. They will stick a little more, and then it's faster to ship.
Celcea, we actually had a question about that, so you kind of just answered it, but AT asked, does this motion slow down sites or cause problems with emails? It sounds like from what you're saying, it actually can speed it up, but do you want to speak to that anymore?
Yeah, or probably I got like quite a video to play. I'm just worried if I go back.
Oh, no worries. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in this one, I'm going to show you very quickly on how you can implement animation on Framer. And there are multiple ways to do it. Either the animation you created yourself, or if, let's say, I'm not confident with it, I'm just looking for something in the public library, right? So when you're on your Framer page, just go to the plugin, run the LottieFiles plugin. There are Discover and also Workspaces. So Discover is where you can discover over like hundreds and thousands free animations that you can use from, and it's free of royalty. The best thing is you can change the color to your brand color so that you don't need to be worried about like, oh my God, this animation is not up to the style. You can always edit it, take things out from it as well, change the background, and even like later you can play with how you want it to be interacted with the user. For instance, like on hover, and then or like on scroll. So it really depends on what you need. But Lottie is possible. Like it's very possible to do this with Lottie. And I'm going to pause a little bit over here. If you're on your Figma right now and you just want to try it as well, feel free to. But in this one, I'm just going to show a very, very quick way where you can create animations, 3 different animations, combine them together, and then turn it into a Lottie. So let's say we have this house, we have the sun, and then we have the wave. And then we just want these 3 illustrations animated in a different way. And also, I want to have the flexibility of arranging them in a different format, because sometimes we're working on the web page, but then that web page needs to be also like, hey, we need a mobile version of this. How does the animation gonna work? Like the one on web page might not be working because you're working with a dimension that is rectangular, but then you need like 1 by 1 on your mobile. So how you can do this is just, if you understand about keyframe in animation, or like if when you were small, if you like to play a flip book, that's basically the first frame and the last frame that you think how this object should move. And then you can connect them like that spaghetti string over here by using the prototype function. And then when you click on this arrow, you will be able to control how you want this to be animated. Ease in, ease out, ease in and out. It really depends, again, on the project that you're working. You want this to be animated really fast or very slow. So you have control over all those things. So we're going to do the second one, which is the sun. So you kind of like, okay, I want it to be a little bigger, and then now I'm making it a little smaller. I'm changing the opacity. You can change the color, add gradient, do as you like. And then after that, good naming habit is really good when you're working with multiple frames. And then go to the prototype tab. Again, you connect the first frame to the second frame, second to the third. I want it looping. How do I do that? You connect the third one to the first one. So that will automatically loop your animation. And then you run the plugin. And then, for instance, like, oh, that's a little too fast, I want to change it. You can just do it right away without closing your plugin, and then click refresh on the top right. Then you have your animation already refreshed with the new setting that you just applied. And the third one, I think, okay, it's still showing this component, but the thing is how you can combine these 3 animations together is that you have to turn them into a multi-variant component. So that's why it shows that that purple square. So once you finish connecting them all, there is a setting where you can click all of them, go back to the design tab, and then turn them into a multivariant component. So after you're done with that, this is the last one that I'm gonna show here is the house. So with a 2-dimensional illustration of the house, you will be able to optically manipulate it so that it looks like it's 3D. We're showing this in this example, and that's kind of like a really, really good way if you need to illustrate something that requires that depth. So so we're done with this house animation, just 2 frames, and then connect the first frame to the second back to the first one, then you're done. Okay, and then now we're gonna turn it into the multi component, and this is how it looked like, and it should have that purple dot frame. And then what you can do is then you copy all of this and then combine it. And then combine it in a new frame. And this is where it comes really, really handy. For instance, I want it to be on the mobile and I need it 1 by 1. So I can just place the sun on the top and then the wave on the back. If you want the wave to be at the front, you can do that very, very easily without even need to change. You don't even need to change anything, basically. Yeah, and then you can just run the plugin again and then render it. And you already have your Lottie animation. And there is a button called Save to Workspace. What is it actually? So Save to Workspace. Workspace is actually the house of everything that you need to be able to bring this Lottie anywhere you want, literally anywhere you want. So over here, you will be able to also do a collaborative work with your colleague. For instance, if you, let's say like I'm working with Carmen, and then she needs to leave comment for me, she can just pin in a very specific area of the animation, and then she can just tag my name, Celcea, can we change this? The animation doesn't look great, there's a glitch here. And then I'll be able to get a notification. So it's a very great way to collaborate. And then another thing is when you're working with multiple like stakeholders, sometimes you would need a progress status of the animation. Also, like, let's say I need to invite more people. Yes, you can. And also it's very suitable for enterprise. So if your client is a big company and they think of like, oh my God, no, we need an SSO, we need all this this important license for us to host the animation elsewhere. Don't worry, it's enterprise grade, so it's still safe. And this is one of the example of the comparison between GIF, Lottie JSON, and then .lottie. So if GIF is like 598 for this specific animation, Lottie JSON is only 66, and .lottie is 8 kilobyte. Carmen gonna show you what is .lottie and why it is so powerful, but it's so mighty small after this. My slide is ending. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about how can you use motion in your projects, or like tips and tricks, please feel free to hit on the LottieFiles.com/education. And we also have LottieFiles.com/certification, where you can get certified from Figma, Webflow, and Framer, and After Effects as well. I guess. Oh yeah, last one. This is from Yamin. Lottie community, come here if you want to chat with any of us. We are all in this community. So anything design, motion, brand, just join this community and feel free to share a portfolio, share your work, or anything. And yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Carmen. She's gonna show us the cool stuff for every industry, every use cases.
Great. So yeah, I just want to say hi. I'm Carmen, and I work as a design engineer at LottieFiles. So I'm like in the sweet spot between code and creativity. So I'm going to show you some technical stuff, but don't worry. So yeah. Next slide, please. Great. Oh, the previous one. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, all right. Let's talk about what makes LottieFiles so powerful when it comes to actually shipping motion. We built these runtimes to be light, fast, and super consistent across platforms. So you can play your animations in web, iOS, Android, React, wherever you want. You can name it. And there is no more it works on design, it works on Figma, and then it's broke on implementation. So you can see some of the cool things that we can do with our format, like for example, reduce file size, theming also. So you can create motion that match your brand style or a seasonal campaign or whatever you want. And also bundle packages, like you can plug and play in modern frameworks, whatever framework you want, like Vue, whatever. And also for me, like my favorite one is this interactivity. So this is huge. This is huge. You're not just playing an animation, you are reacting to the user input. So you can control hover states, scroll, full control. And also you can add this in seconds. All of this is part of our .lottie file format ecosystem. And if you want to explore more, you can check out this URL on the left. It's LottieFiles.com/runtimes. But let me show you a really cool real world demo with .lottie and also with Webflow. So if you can, next slide, please. And this one. Okay, sorry, it's like super fast, the video, but don't worry. You probably recognize this UI. It's Webflow, yeah? you can bring any animation from your LottieFiles workspace right into your project, similar to Framer that Celcea showed previously. And all you need to do is open the LottieFiles for Webflow plugin. Same goes for Framer, by the way. So you can search or discover some of the free animations or login into your workspace. And let's say I grab this little animation and you just need to drop it on, like insert, boom, it's done. But I don't want it as a new element. I want to replace one of my cards, one of these existing Lottie animations. So double click and swap it with one of your assets. Yeah, and now it's done. So we have like this little bird. From there, you can start adding interactions, like basic ones, like some simple hover effects, or if you want to go wild and hook up with green sock that now is available inside Webflow, you can add some advanced animations, some advanced interactions and settings. You only need to put on the settings page. So once you hit publish and the page goes live, you can interact it with the example. So it's just like this, super simple. You can move things around. You're gonna see now. So yeah, you can move this little guy around and play with the animations. And also, if you realize the animation keeps playing, I mean, all of these assets are Lottie animations, so the animation is running. You can hover it or play with them. Look at this little guy. Yeah, it's super cool, and that's how easy it's to use Lottie animations inside Webflow or Framer, or totally up to you, your favorite platform, wherever you want. Okay, so I just want to show you more things about Lottie, our format. So if you can, next slide, please. And similar, Celcea already shared this. This is handoff. So let's talk about handoff, real handoff. So you can go from your LottieFiles workspace. You can upload some animations from After Effects, Figma, your favorite creation tool, and also Creator. That's our web-based tool. Okay, and yeah, from your LottieFiles workspace, you can prepare your animation and export it as a .lottie file. You can active the asset as a CDN, and your developer only needs to copy this link. That means that it's not just a pretty asset, it's part of your code ecosystem. So you just need one click, copy this embed code, and you're set. That's all. Yeah, just one file ready to go. Next slide, please. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so now imagine your product asking, hey, is your user happy? So yeah, you can swap in expressive emoji animations like this, modes, reactions, all from the same .lottie file. So it's only one file. It's packed with segments. So you are not loading 5 different animations. You're just jumping between different states. So those are states. No extra request, just one file. Yeah, battery transitions. And the next one, it's one of my favorite examples for showing theming. The next slide, please. You will see our lazy potato watching chill Netflix. But here's the twist: you can theme the entire vibe with just a click. I mean, you can create day mode, dark mode, neon mode, wherever you want. So you don't need to duplicate animation. Lottie lets you embed multiple themes in the same file. You just need to change the color values, one file, multiple looks, and you have total control over it. And yeah, the next one is one of my latest demos. I am always experimenting how you can do with the format. So next slide, please. And this is one of my favorite demos so far. It's a slot machine. So this entire chaos of spinning emojis, it's running off, again, a single .lottie file. So also you can create multiple canvas elements and each pulling from different segments inside that same file. And even has sound. If you want to check the original demo, you can find in our CodePen profile. So it's lightweight. Someone was asking before about performance. So it's lightweight, it's performant, and devs love it because it scales also. It's SVG. Someone also asked about SVG. Those is SVG based, so it's scalable and works great in any device. So you don't need a dozen of files. You need one well-prepared .lottie. I think that that's the power of the format. So, oh yeah, and also we create the state machines. That's what it means. So next slide. So one of the things that is coming, that what's next, we are working on interactivity inside our creation tool, our creator. So it's our web-based editor for the creation of any animation. So this interactivity, thanks of this, you will be able to do all the cool stuff that you normally write with the code. So all of the examples that I show you that was code-based, you will be able to create in a visual way. So like chaining animations, reacting to some user inputs like clicks, scroll, hovers. You can play different segments over different animations, but in a visual way, visually. So this is like a game changing, and you don't need any setup, no framework. You will just drag and drop and connect those node-based system and decide which interactions, which transitions between every transition and states you will, to create those kind of interactive animations without any knowledge of code. I mean, you will be able to do it visually. I think it's a great game changer. So please, next slide. I want to show you more examples about interactivity. So it's like if I want to explain how or what it is, a visual state machine for motion, it's this. So you can control and trigger something on hover. You can trigger animation and segment on hover, on click. You can create custom events also. And yeah, as I said, all without touching a line of code. That means that designers can create, for example, their animations in After Effects, in Figma, wherever. They can upload to our Workspace. They can have this handoff that it's not a real handoff because of you only need to copy a link. It's very easy, and all without touching any line of code. So that means that designers and other roles that are not into code will be able to create those kind of interactions inside the any animation that will run in any runtime in any device perfectly. So that's a huge thing to work and make design and development work together with this motion logic together. So in short, faster, smarter, and way less back and forth. I'm very happy to contribute to this format. Yeah, so next slide, because of also, I think this is the last one. Yep, we are already investing in AI. So right now you can generate, you will be able to generate keyframes from a simple prompt. So directly in Creator, in our creation tool. You just need to pick an object, element, and SVG path, wherever, and just need to describe the motion in a prompt. And that's it. It will create the frames, and you will be able after this to adjust them or whatever you want to. It's perfectly to not to start from scratch any animations, and then you can iterate and adjust whatever you want. So yeah, that's it.
Incredible. It's amazing to see all the things that can be created. And I love that co-pilot feature, Carmen. We did get a lot of questions, and I see a lot of them have been answered throughout, but I'm going to bring some on the screen just so we can address that were of a lot of interest to folks. So first of all, from Ryan, a question around how LottieFiles was involved in the slot machine that you shared.
The code base of machine was code, but where and how did LottieFiles get involved in the workflow? I don't know if I get the question. Okay, I think I get it. So yeah, the example that they show with the state machine was coded because of you need the actual feature inside Creator to initial the state machine. But you will be able to do this inside Creator without any need of initiate the state machine in code. But also we publish, like I think that the previous week we published a new a new v2.lottie documentation, so you can check there a lot of new info that we are working on. So like the new spec, something like this.
Awesome. And we had lots of questions that I think you addressed pretty clearly around, can you create without code? It's very clear that the answer is yes. And that's a lot of what LottieFiles is focused on. There's a question here of, is creating Lottie in Figma the most state-of-the-art way?
I think I'm gonna answer this.
Yeah.
It really depends. It really depends on your preferences and then your workflow as well. I would say Figma to Lottie is the most convenient when you are a product designer or you spend a lot of time on Figma. Like I wouldn't want to jump and open After Effects when my laptop is already burning hot. So it really depends on your need. But for me, that coming from a visual background, or like any visual designers actually in the Lottie studio, they love using Lottie Lottie in Figma because it's just visual based. You're thinking about the keyframe and then just connect the frame, and then it's animating it right away. So you don't really need to think about, like, if I go to After Effects, for instance, but probably folks like Mao or like people who are very used to After Effects don't agree with that, but it could be intimidating for me. So I spent so much hours on Figma, then this becoming the favorite tool. But if I were to say like state of art way, I think it really depends on the person that's using it, like what most comfortable for you, for your workflow, and think about also scalability, for instance, like how do you want your animation to be and where you want to bring it to. So yeah, it really depends.
Awesome. And kind of piggybacking off of that, related to computer running hot with After Effects opening, we got a question around Lottie animations are really heavy when I animate in After Effects and export to Lottie. Any tips that either of you can share?
I can share one tip, but Mao is in the chat right now, and he's probably can share more tips. But having a clean file is very important. It's very important. I think for any design work, basically, if you have your clean files, or like or try to manipulate or use as less layers as possible, that will help a lot to reduce the size. And then another thing, sometimes you're working with like a really huge dimension. You're working for a web animation and it's 1920 by 1080. You don't need that because it's a Lottie. So you could work with like a very small, keep the dimension, but you can work small, and probably you won't be comfortable looking at the pixels, but then it will be fine because it's Lottie. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Mao, please add in all your tips and trick on the AE.
Awesome. So keep an eye in the chat. Mal will be in there with any more details. This is kind of related, but anything else that you would call out around limitations of making an animation in After Effects then to Lottie?
Yes, there is still limitations. I think we do have a list where you can go to and then see what are the new updates that we're been updating, because we just want to make sure that all these features are properly rendered. So it takes time for our team to improve it one by one. But we do hear any of you who probably come across like, oh my God, this doesn't show us how it should be. But usually there is work around it. And yeah, our team will send a link where you can check out what will be the features that we will be pushing up really soon. Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
You can actually export instead of Lottie to .lottie. So it makes the file like tiny. So
Nice. There's the tip we all need. All right. And then there were some questions, a few questions around WordPress and LottieFiles integrating with WordPress. Do either of you want to take that one?
Yeah, we do have integration with WordPress. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like there's some interest to see more content around that in the future. All right. And then another question from Ryan.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's more of like have it clean. Clean means like sometimes we would have like hidden layers that we don't actually need. So that would help if you just take it out. Or like you have double layer, but probably in the visual or in the animation, it doesn't really make difference. So probably you just want to keep it as one. So things like that, like neat, make it neat. Yeah. But then naming convention is important for any of you here. I guess every designers have their own preference on the naming convention, but that's, yeah, keep your practice, but just keep in mind to keep it clean, like your layerings. Yeah.
Awesome. And we'll take one or two more questions. There was one here around limitations for implementation in iOS and Android.
Okay. So I think that probably if I'm honest, in Android, I don't have too much context. I've been working more on the web based, but we tried always that everything that works on web to make it work on the other. So I think that in iOS there were some issues that one of our colleagues, Sam, was working on. So if you, and also please, if you find any kind of bug, any kind of thing that you don't understand because of it's working bad or weird, please join the community. We are like a lot of, I don't remember the number, probably Jamin knows the number of developers that are working, into the community, our LottieFiles community, and also designers. But there are huge questions that we are always trying to answer there, and also with examples. So probably if you have any issue, you can go to the community and ask us, hey, I have this issue, and we will answer as soon as we can with a demo. So it also helps us to improve the format and the ecosystem. So please, you're very welcome to come and join the community and ask and show us where everything that it's making your life bad. We will try to figure it out and fix it.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Can we drop the community URL in as well? I see some questions around where to join the community, so we'll get that shared. Celcea, did you want to add anything else to it?
Yeah. So if you notice, if you go to the workspace that Carmen showed earlier, there is a download and hand off. So actually on download, you will, I think I'll just go back to the slide for a bit.
Yeah, and also about the compatibility and all of the things about features with different systems like iOS and Android. If you use Lottie, it will cover almost everything. So I think that
Yeah, that
I
was
think
the
that
one I want to say.
yeah, some advice that they can give you is like, if you use Lottie, you can include more features, so it will be work better. So
Yeah, so
just
the JSON format still shows some limitations when you're applying on iOS and then Android. And Lottie will make it possible. It's because the code itself is different, and then the size itself is a lot smaller. So I think someone asked about when you export it from AE. Actually, me and Mao currently working on a project that we were trying to optimize an animation as much as we can, and we couldn't get it really low with JSON. And with Lottie, we were like, yeah, we can ship this. So the size compression is just it's just really becoming really small.
Awesome. And a related question to Lottie.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are there no code animations code embedded in the Lottie file? No, it's only one file. I mean, and also it's kind of, you can use the library also, and the library gives you some functions property that you can expose and then control, but it's just one file. If think about, instead of the JSON, the Lottie is a zip. It's a zip format. It's like a folder. You can include as much animations you want inside, and also, well, there are things about audio, things like that that we want to cover, but but think about a huge folder with a like a zip that is super tiny, and you actually can. This is like this is a trick. You can download .lottie. You can change the extension to zip, unzip, and you will see the manifest inside. So yeah, you will see all the info, all the animations that are inside the folder. And then you can compress again as a .lottie, and it will work. So it's just a tiny file, but powerful.
Awesome. Lottie is the way is one of my
Yeah, it
takeaways.
is. It is. It is. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
can I add one more? Just one more
Please.
thing. Like all the animations that you guys, not the one with the screen recording, but the one that shows animation, we uses Lottie. And then how we do that is basically just simply copying the code from over here. There is embed URL, and we just paste it on Pitch. It was supported, and many others as well. So for instance, you're working on a project, you need to present to your client, just get it from here. You get the MP4, you get the code, so that your presentation won't look pixelated. So it's like a drive where you can get anything you need from this particular animation. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great segue to talk a little bit more about how people are earning using Lottie on Contra. So I'll go ahead, take the screen share. Thank you so much, Celcea and Carmen, for the awesome presentation. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. Sorry, we got to do a little stage cleanup. There we go. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the chat and the team can respond there and always follow up afterward. But appreciate the really awesome demos, Carmen and Celcea. And awesome to know that that was all exported directly from LottieFiles. So great trick for how to share your work with clients. So I think Celcea did a really great job talking about how motion can really level up the work that you deliver to clients. And to share a little bit more around the connection between LottieFiles and Contra, Contra is a commission-free creative network for independent professionals. And so you can see here, we showcase work from people that are designing, that are building, that are writing, any sort of creative skill here. And the way that we work with LottieFiles team is to certify anyone that has received a LottieFiles certification on Contra. So what that means is that a lot of people were asking in the chat, how do you actually learn about LottieFiles? LottieFiles has a lot of incredible educational materials in addition to their community, and they have a lot of certifications that they offer. Things like LottieFiles in Framer, LottieFiles in Figma, LottieFiles in Webflow, and LottieFiles in After Effects. Once you go through those certification programs, you can create a profile on Contra and you will be considered a LottieFiles expert. What that means is you'll be showcased on this page. So any time someone goes to hire a LottieFiles expert, they will be directed here. You also will be showcased on our search and discover, where we have thousands of clients coming every day that are hiring for design skills, people specifically hiring for LottieFiles. So you can see here projects that were completed in LottieFiles, and then LottieFiles experts. You'll see Daniel right at the top of the screen. I think he's on this call as well. So when you join Contra, you create a profile to showcase the work that you do and the skills that you have. So to take Daniel's profile as an example, he has a lot of featured work here, which includes projects of the work he's done using Framer, using LottieFiles. Here's a great example of a project that he built using Webflow and LottieFiles. This showcases what he's able to do. And then as clients are interested in working with you, they can message you directly through Contra to request to work. We also host jobs on here that you can use to see all of the jobs where people are hiring, if they're hiring for LottieFiles at the time. And so we'd encourage everyone on here to go ahead and complete a LottieFiles certification. It's a really great way to learn and to get certified. You can sign up for a free Contra account. You'll be prompted to complete a profile. And then once you complete your profile showcasing work with LottieFiles, you'll be able to get that badge and get showcased on Contra and ultimately start earning. So if you're interested, go to contra.com/LottieFiles to get started. And that will allow you to set up your profile and get the certification badge. All right. And with that, we appreciate everyone joining us today. I see the URL in here. Thank you so much, everyone, for hopping on. Thank you, Carmen and Celcea, for the awesome presentation and sharing more around how to level up with motion and the specifics there. Really appreciate it. And for the many people, I think we had over 500 people here that joined from across the globe. Thank you for taking the time to join us. We'll see you all again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
And thanks,